Hello and welcome to the TGA Pristine podcast, where we discuss everything from the trading card community to the company itself that grades your favorite collectible cardboard. Grab your sleeves and top loaders, it's time to rip into the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the TGA Pristine podcast with your hosts, Quick Trigger
and Darkest Night.
And today we're going to be discussing a few different topics here today. We're going to be kind of going over some recent news that came out with Pokemon cards. There's a big thief out there among us that actually stole some cards from a printing site for Pokemon, and it's been getting a lot of attention as of late. We're going to be kind of going into discussing about when you go to buy products for cards, for people that tend to buy sealed product in hopes of pulling packs and or opening packs and trying to pull certain hits that they want for like their collections, or just if you're trying to build like decks and stuff, you'd rather try to get the cards you want versus buying them, and then vice versa if you would prefer to buy the cards that you want if you can try to get them at good prices. Yeah, so we'll kind of just start from there and we'll get it going. So we were kind of looking into this whole this whole Pokemon situation, and because it's kind of funny because like they discuss about how he apparently stole like a lot of big hits for Fusion Strike and Evolving Skies. So I know there was like a lot of talk amongst the Pokemon community talking about how just awful overall the hit rates were for Fusion Strike, and then like I don't know, I didn't really get that vibe from Evolving Skies just because like how good the hits were from that set, because even with like Fusion Strike, even like the secret rares and the alt arts and stuff like weren't like that crazy like in price, but like with Evolving Skies, you had the Moonbreon, you had the Rayquaza VMAX alt art, you had some of those bigger hit cards that were like pretty up there in price. Whereas like Fusion Strike, even their alt arts and stuff, like I don't think were even like that crazy in like value. So I definitely think that overall it would have definitely impacted Fusion Strike a lot more, because even when I opened the set, it definitely came off to me that like it seemed like it was kind of low in comparison to a lot of the other sets that I've opened. We mentioned before we got on, I had brought up about Battle Styles, how I kind of felt like that set was kind of like on the lower end of the hit rates and stuff. I did manage to pull the T-Tar alt art. I bought some stuff. I bought some packs from my local Barnes and Noble, and I went home and I think it came out of a 3-pack blister. I believe I think I bought 2 of them, and out of one of the 3-pack blisters, I pulled the T-Tar alt art, which was pretty cool. And I think at the time, I think I sold it for around like 120-ish, 130, something like that, somewhere around there. It was like a little over $100 at the time when I sold it, but it's like I kind of just like think that with these newer sets now, it's been kind of getting to a point where the hit rates are a little better. But no, going back to that dude, it's just like I can't imagine like his thought process of just like being at that printing site and seeing all those cards and just being like, yeah, I'm about to take all these. These are coming home with me.
Right, because like we know, working at TGA, you're coming across some of the like holiest of grails in all sets, not even Pokemon. A lot of the Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh cards that we would see come through, sports cards that were signed. And these are just like coming in and out of your hands all the time. But you're expected to be a decently moral human being, and these are not yours. It never once crossed my mind on, pocketing these cards and, I don't know, I guess we lost it. It's time to, pay the submitter back for their lost card. Oh no. And because I would even feel awful, because, there are mistakes that happen where, a card might get shipped out in someone else's submission, and it was rare. Like, I think it happened maybe once or twice in the entirety of my time when I was at the headquarters, where a card got misplaced or got put in a wrong submission. And even then, like, even when it's not your fault, you had nothing to do with it, you still feel awful. And you just like, it makes you think like, oh man, I hope they don't think that I'm the one that stole it or anything. And it's just, you just feel bad even when you know you had no take in it. And but yeah, like it really shows like someone's true character and their form when they're working at a printing facility or at a card shop or something, and they just want to take all the goodies for themselves and keep it from everyone else, and just really lower the chances of anyone else getting it. Because I remember in the article, they were talking about the investigation that had concluded the first time around in January of 2022, and the dude just brought in just gobs and gobs of these secret rare cards. And the shops are like, yeah, what the hell? Like, no, there's no way you just have these. Like, they were getting tipped off. They're like, yeah, these are either fake or this guy stole all this. There's no way you just have hundreds and hundreds of secret rares upon the release of the sets. And I mean, and wasn't just like one or two. It was like all like the full arts and alternate arts and golds. I mean, like, I don't know how stupid you have to be to just walk in and having all those cards and expecting to walk out clean with your money and move on with your life. And
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, yeah, because Jordan can post the picture that they have on the article that was posted. I mean, this dude just has like stacks on stacks of like he has like three stacks of like the Espeon alt arts, the Gengar alt arts, like all these rainbow rares. Like has like these like little card shelf things just filled with them, and all the cards like don't even look like they're in sleeves. Like he
nope.
has like a little pack. No, if you look at like the bottom part of the picture on two of the card like box things, he has a stack of sleeves that's just sitting on the top of it. I
He's
don't
just
think any
waiting,
of the
waiting for the
cards.
good ones.
He's waiting until someone buys it and be like, "Here, I'll just throw it in a sleeve for you." Like none of the cards are
Yeah.
in sleeves; they're all just raw and like just stacked on top of each other. And it's just like just looking at the amount of secret rares that are just sitting there on that table. I'm just like, "Oh my god!" Like I mean that's ridiculous to think that like you could take that many and then that people wouldn't be suspicious on the fact that like you probably stole them.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like even then,
That's
like that would make me think that they were fake. Because if someone walks in with like 100 Mew VMAX alternate arts and they're like Nazi just slaps them on my table, and, hey, how much for these? I'm like, no, like, I'm gonna call the authorities, or I'm gonna just tell you to go screw off, because there's no way that you're handling all these multiple $100 individual cards like this.
yeah,
Uh,
I haven't seen like the quality of like fake Pokemon cards in a little bit. I remember I bought some fake ones just for fun. Off of I think I bought them off of AliExpress because there was people that would buy what looked like a booster box of Hidden Fates, but obviously Hidden Fates never had a booster box because it was like a holiday set, and so it only had like like the collection boxes and the tins and all that stuff. They never actually had booster boxes. So it was obvious that the booster boxes were fake and everything. They just took like the artworks and stuff from the other products and just slapped them on there to make it look like one. And then like the packs were all off and stuff, and like they were like serrated at the top and stuff. So they were like super easy to open, and it was and it's just kind of funny to see like what they do with the cards. And I've seen some really funny fake ones, but I don't really know if I've ever seen like good fake ones. Like usually you can like tell between like if you have like a real one and then a fake one of the same kind of card in your hands. You can usually have a pretty good idea of like which one's the real one. Um, it's a little easier to try to mimic it when it comes to like when they made like those like GXs and stuff at first, and some of those like the EXs. Like usually people would have like a lot of fakes of those because like they were a little bit harder to tell at first. Plus, like with kids, like they just see a card and like, oh yeah, it's Pokemon, like it's got to be real. And a lot of them, like you'll see a lot of kids that have like fake cards in their binders and stuff, and they may not even know, or they do, and they just don't really care. They just want to have that kind of stuff in their collections or whatever. Um, but usually, like first off, like when you feel the card, like you can feel the difference in the quality of the card and knowing that it's fake. Typically in the fake ones, they also have a lot of like crazy like hollow foiling to them and stuff. It's just like over the top. It's like not authentic to like what the actual cards are. I think the only time I ever saw a true genuine like what looked like it could have been a real card but it was fake was I remember I saw this old video of Pokerev. He was doing like this huge like booster box break of like some old Japanese set. I think it was like either Jungle or Fossil or something, or the Team Rocket. I don't even remember what it was. It was like some really old Japanese set of Pokemon cards, and there were like a good bit into the box, and then like it was at one point that like Rev kind of noticed that like the cards like seemed off or whatever, and or I guess like because I don't remember if it was like something where because I thought like the Japanese. Like it was guaranteed a hollow in like every pack, but then like he felt like it was kind of weird that they were getting so many hollows, and so at one point he decided to check one of the cards, and then like he was able to just straight up just peel off the cover of one of the cards like with ease, like it was just like nothing. And at that point, obviously all these other people had like paid so much money for these packs because everyone thought it was genuine. He thought it was real. Um, so I have seen like some of the older stuff, and like especially with, like Japanese cards. I think like people were able to make like pretty good looking like fake cards. Um, but as far as like the more modern stuff and everything, it's like for me at least, it seems like I've been able to like tell that certain cards are fake. So
Yeah, I mean, whenever I was at TGA and they would test us on the fake Pokemon, like a lot of times, like the backs of the cards always threw it off for me. Whenever I would look and like they just couldn't get the coloring correct on
hmm
the true color of what those Pokemon backs are. It was always a little like doled out or
yeah,
it just wasn't always accurate to how it looked. And you're right, the feel of the card when you hold a real card and a fake one, it's just that you can just feel like
it's like night and day.
it's like that weird waxy kind of plasticky difference from like the thin little like cardboard whatever like the actual paper quality is for Pokemon. Those are always like some pretty dead giveaways where you could even be blindfolded. You can probably tell the difference between a real one and a fake one. But that's not to like make fun of anyone that's been fooled before because there are some really good fakes out there, and it's kind of scary how real some people can get it to look, and it makes sense that like a casual collector could buy one, and there's even like fake graded cards as well, like people that fake PSA slabs and try and sell them
hmm
online, and that's why a lot of times people will cover the serial number on the slabs whenever they're selling it, so that way people can't see that. Oh, so this exists. This Charizard VMAX. I'm just making something up. Let's say like a Rayquaza VMAX alternate art in this PSA 10 with this exact serial number, and so that way someone can like take that picture, and then if someone does that, they can make their own fake PSA label and slap that into their own little slab machine, and they'll be like, oh, if you look up the number, like this is a real card in the database, and so I get why a lot of people will cover up the serial number whenever they sell stuff online, so that way people can't easily fake it. That's probably it's pretty rare for that to come across, but it's always a high possibility, and that's why you always just ask for as many pictures as you can, and if you can, like we mentioned in the other podcast from last week, if you can actually like hold the product in your hand before you buy it and analyze it for yourself. It's always the best case scenario before buying something is you can never be too careful before you make a purchase for something, especially if it's worth a high value.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, if I was still a kid, there's probably a good chance that like if you showed me like a fake card, like I probably wouldn't really be able to know the difference. I'd just be, oh, sick, I got this, and then I got another Pokemon card, and so I mean, it is like sometimes kind of tricky, especially if you don't really know what to look for, and I mean, they make fakes of all kinds of stuff. Like, I mean, I've purchased like essentially like fake Yu-Gi-Oh cards and stuff before, and you can clearly tell it's like the same thing with like Pokemon, like the quality of the card, like how the card looks, like the font on it and everything, and especially with like the color and stuff too. Like the color usually gives is like a big giveaway. Um, for telling the difference between like an authentic item versus like counterfeit, and it's like the same thing with like Funkos. Like there's so many fake Funko Pops that are made out there, and people end up buying ones that it almost seems legit. Like they make it look very similar to the original, especially for like some that are like kind of pricey. It's kind of like a gamble you're taking of hoping that this is real, and but also like a good way to know too is that if there's somebody that out there that's like selling something that is supposed to be kind of high in price, but they're selling it at like a super cheap price, it's one of those like common things where it's just like if the deal's too good to be true, then it is. You don't want to like go in thinking like you're about to get a deal on something that normally costs $200, but then you find someone that's selling it for like $30. Then that's red flags all day long. Like there's a good chance that it's probably fake, or they're just not going to even send you anything. You're just going to get scammed out of your money. Which obviously, there's certain ways to get around that with like protecting your purchases and saving your and like being able to get your money back and stuff. But there's other ways where if you accidentally send somebody money and there's no way to try to protect your purchase if you do end up getting scammed, then like you're just out that money, which like does happen. Because I remember I saw that a lot with Shining Fates whenever that set first released, and like everyone was buying it. A lot of people like reselling the ETBs and stuff for like a cheaper price than like anyone else. And like then they would say they have like over like 100 ETBs or something, and they're only selling them for like $30 or whatever. And I was just like, yeah, this seems like a scam. So I never bothered with those. It always just seemed like those people were just trying to like rake in all that money, and then then it was all gone at that point. And then a lot of those posts would get taken down and stuff. Just because either enough people reported them, or eBay finally got on top of it and was just like, yeah, this comes off as like like potential scam posts and stuff, and so
Right, yeah, and I think that that kind of plays into one of the main topics we want to talk about on whether we prefer to buy or recommend to buy the sets as like booster boxes and single packs and trying to pull the cards we want, or if we just rather buy the singles as the set is released, or waiting until the set releases and waiting for it to come cheaper. Because I mean, I'm kind of in both ways on this. The only thing I always keep in mind is depending on what the set is and how the guaranteed pull rates are. Like buying random loose booster boxes from people online is always going to be a gamble because you never know if those people bought cases and started opening the boxes. And let's say it's like Y Shorts, or they bought a case of Attack on Titan and they already pulled the SSP or the SP. Then now you're guaranteed jack nothing in return of what the price would be for your booster boxes. And there could be other regular cards that you're after, and so you don't really care about hitting the big cards. But if you are chasing a lot of those high ticket auto cards, or just the ones that'll easily make your money back, and ones that you would rather pull for yourself, it's always going to be a gamble that someone's just offing off the rest of their dead boxes, is what they call them, and trying to get their money back because they already pulled the high ticket item. So a lot of times, like, if you're able to budget out and afford cases, if you're trying to pull those big ticket cards yourself, that's always going to be the safest way to go. Because you can, unless you have a really good trusted source, a local card shop or a shop on eBay that is legit, or if you talked with them, and or just some other seller, someone else that bought a case and they're just selling off the boxes. Those are always going to be good ways to buy sealed product. And, it's fun ripping boxes and seeing what you pull for yourself, and I always enjoy it, especially with My Hero, the Universe's sets, because there's always going to be 4 extra rares, but 5 including the box topper, and 6 ultra rares guaranteed in a box, and both secret rares are guaranteed in a case. So if you're able to spend the money for a case, it'll be 6 booster boxes, and you'll get both secret rares guaranteed, on top of all of those other ultra rares and extra rares guaranteed as well. And it's always fun in My Hero because the extra rares can be any card in the entirety of the set and the starter exclusive set that came out with that one. So it's always enjoyable to see which extra rares you're going to pull, and you can never keep that away from people, even if you're just scalping off the rest of your loose boxes if you already pulled the main hitters, because there's always a chance you can get an extra secret rare, and that's always going to be the highest ticket item for My Hero. And and with Pokemon, it doesn't. There's nothing guaranteed, so you can feel safe about that. But yeah, like at the end of the day, I always enjoy buying boxes because it's fun to open your own stuff, your own product, and have it at home, and you can guarantee that what you're pulling out is going to be safe and secure, and sleeves and top loaders, you know how to take care of your own stuff. But there is times after a while where if you're opening sealed product and you just never pull the card you want, eventually you're gonna think about buying it online, and those always run with risks of how those people took care of their cards, the quality of the pictures that you're seeing online, and um, it all just comes down to a whole bunch of that's a different gamble in and of itself. Or you can just buy it graded already, and just pay the premium for it being slabbed, and depending on what the grade is, and so there's always fine lines between both. I like doing both. Always like buying the product first and just seeing what I pull for myself. And if I don't get the cards I want, then I'll just go out and buy them. And that's just kind of the way I approach those sorts of things with the cards.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of the same way as far as like, when a new set comes out for something I want to collect, then I'll usually tend to buy the products and stuff at first just to kind of, just have the fun of ripping some packs and just seeing what I get. And then, whether I pull the stuff that I wanted, which is like, very exciting, or if I even pull something that I didn't want, but I know it could be worth some money, then that just means that, I'm able to sell it, I'm able to make my money back and then some. And then I can use that money that I sell the other stuff that I don't want to either buy more product to continue opening if I want, or after I wait a little bit and see like what the prices are for some of the other cards, I can just go ahead and just buy the individual cards that I want. So it's kind of like a win-win situation, like you can, keep ripping stuff and just hope that you get something good that you can, continue to sell those cards for and continue to buy either more boxes or packs, or if you just want to buy the cards for yourself. I'll tell you guys right now, if you care about the value of the card that you're buying, like if you're buying it for the intent of like, either for your collection or if you're like buying it for grading purposes, especially for grading purposes, do not buy from TCG Player because you are literally taking a blind gamble of what condition the card's going to be in. Like you don't get pictures. It's literally every card is a stock photo, even if they say they have like 5 available. And then if someone even like will say like it's mint or near mint or whatever it is, like a lot of them will probably just lie, just so people will buy their stuff sooner than other ones. But it's literally a gamble if the card's going to be in good condition or not. Like there's no references, there's no pictures. You can't like sit there and like talk with somebody that's selling it and try to figure out like what the actual condition of the card is. Like you're just throwing a dart blind basically at a board and just hoping that you hit the bullseye and you get actually a good card. Because I recently bought a Todoroki card from the My Hero set. I had to buy it from TCG Player because there was literally nobody on eBay that was selling it. Um, and so I went down TCG Player and I saw that someone was selling it for like a decent price, and so I went ahead and just bought it, which kind of sucks because I was intending on sending in the card for grading, and unfortunately the card's not in the most pristine condition when I got it. It obviously had some kind of like a little bit of wear to it, so if I got lucky, I could probably maybe squeak out a 9 for it, maybe. Like lowest it could probably get is an 8.5, honestly, for just from looking at it overall. Because the centering wasn't, I don't think, was perfect. There was definitely some, very visible whitening on the back of the card. Excuse me. So just make sure that you're taking all the right precautions, and even when you're going about buying stuff online, just because you never know if someone might be, just really trying to sell it for a good deal, which is is the case. You can't always think that everyone out there is trying to scam people. Even if someone's just trying to sell it, like undersell it from the rest of the competition, they could just be doing that in hopes that like their stuff sells quickly because they're looking for a quick profit, or they're just looking for some quick money back on the items. But also, if you can, like, feel free to reach out to sellers. Like, if you're buying stuff from people on eBay, or if you're, going on WhatNot, or, anything. Like, obviously, when you're on WhatNot's a live show, so you're able to see, like, the card live in person if you ask for certain ones. But especially for, like, like eBay, Facebook Marketplace, like any of those places, like Mercari, If you don't feel like the person that's selling an item has posted enough pictures, like ask for more. Like ask them to, like if they only posted the front part of a card, ask them to send you additional pictures. Like you want to see the back of the card, you want to see, all the corners, you want to see, if there's anything on the edges, like like get like multiple photos of like the surface of the card, just to make sure that you're covering all your bases and there's not anything that's possibly in question. Um, because like obviously most people will be courteous enough to send you multiple pictures and stuff if they if you want them, but like that some people just won't even bother answering, or people will just say no. They either don't have other pictures or like whatever. They just don't feel like taking extra pictures because some people are lazy. Um, but it doesn't hurt to ask. Especially if like, you're the one buying it. You want to make sure you're comfortable with what you're purchasing. Make sure it's something that you really want. It's the condition that you want. It's the price you want. It's at the end of the day, it's like you have to be okay at the end of the day with like what you bought. You want to be happy with your decision. You want to feel satisfied from it. You don't want to be walking away from it and be like, maybe I could have tried like offering a little bit lower, or maybe I could have asked for like some more pictures. And you don't want to be unsure when you're going into it, because then it's just going to leave you, feeling doubtful about the next time you go to try to purchase a card. You're going to be kind of just wishy-washy about the whole process. So just make sure when you're going into it, you know exactly what you're looking for, the price point that you would want it for. Because in that way, like if the card does like look kind of iffy, then like maybe you could like argue that with the seller, be like, hey, like I see you're selling it for this price, but other people are selling it for this price, and theirs is in perfect condition, but I noticed that yours has some minor um, you know, some minor issues with it and stuff. So there's always no hurt in trying to negotiate and try to wheel and deal for your stuff, especially if it seems kind of questionable. Um, but yeah, so this will kind of tie into when I referenced WhatNot. So if anyone's never been on WhatNot, I suggest you get on it. Your wallet may suggest otherwise, but I've been on Whatnot for the last like handful of months now. I've been streaming on there every Saturday at noon Central Time, and it's been fun. I've enjoyed my time on there because even when I'm not streaming, I catch myself pretty much on the app almost every day, checking out different streams, seeing what else like people are selling. Because sometimes I'll like go on there and like look to see if like people are selling certain stuff that I want, whether it's cards or if like people may have good deals for like Funkos and stuff that I'm looking into. Um, I like kind of seeing like what other people like to collect, like what kind of cards they're getting into, and like also just being able to meet like other people that are on the app. Because when you go into a lot of these different shows, you may come across the same kind of people like in different shows, like whether it's in a different category, or whatever it is. Like you'll come across the same kind of people, whether they're sellers themselves or they're just people going on the app just to buy. You end up running into a lot of similar people, and you just start connecting with them, you start chatting on the side, then you start getting involved in like joining like discords and other types of groups, and it starts just building this nice little community of people, of just like-minded people, of just collecting, buying, selling, trading, all that good stuff. And it's so much fun because like being on like a live show platform for selling, it's just like you get to see like firsthand, like right in front of you, like what you're buying, what the product looks like. There's no questions about the person that posted pictures of it. You get to see it right there in front of you, what it is. So that way, like you get to like really make sure that it's something that you want. Then like once you get it, then like it's fully insured, and it's like it's all through the process of Whatnot, and they like cover everything, and they're very good about getting you your stuff. Or if like something does happen with your order, then like they're very good about getting you a refund, and making sure they clear up all that stuff. And yeah, and funny enough, my brother here, Jordan, just finally got approved with Whatnot, and so he will be doing his own live shows pretty soon.
Yep, yeah, it was a grueling, monotonous process of getting approved with Whatnot. Because I know, especially whenever it first started, it was very, very easy to get approved with Whatnot. At least that's what I heard, because they were very eager and open to accepting just about everyone and anyone that had anything to sell on their platform to join them and let them be sellers. And I kind of missed out on that open window for the time being. And whenever I had submitted, they told me that I didn't have enough inventory to be a seller, and so they just straight up denied me on my first application, and then I had to wait 1 month before I was able to resubmit, and then so I waited my 1 month, and the month came around, and I never got prompted up in my profile to be able to resubmit an application. So that was really strange. And eventually I had to reach out to them, and it took them a little bit, but then they finally got back and allowed me to reapply. And but this time, because I had heard from a lot of people that when you apply or reapply, do so through a already seller's recommendation, and the sellers can send out a recommendation email for you to apply through their link, which lets WhatNot know that someone that's already selling on their platform is recommending this person, and they're backing them up for it. And that they heard a lot of the times when people submit applications that way, that they very easily get accepted. And so I did so through my friend Superman 0407's link. He had sent me a request to reapply, and so I did that. And I know you're all expecting that that's what allowed me to get accepted. It was also not. I was then waitlisted on the Funko selling side of WhatNot. So there's a couple of things that's stupid about that. One, I got waitlisted. That was really weird. I mean, it's better than being told no, but also you can't do anything about that. You have to wait for eternity until they decide to make a decision. And two, they put me in a section, which is the dumbest thing, because as a lot of you might know, that on WhatNot, when you sell, you can choose any section you want. You can choose any grouping whenever you're selling. You don't have to, if you're put into like a Funko sellers, you don't have to just sell Funkos. You can choose that day. Oh, I want to be a trading card seller today. I'm going to title my show with trading cards and specifically Pokemon. And so that was just really weird. Like WhatNot was being strange with me. And then recently, this past weekend, I got a random email that they had accepted me, that I was no longer waitlisted, and to do my onboarding and become a seller. So that was really exciting. I've been waiting to join the seller community for a while. I've been a big supporter, and just been really speaking their praises for months now. I've been on their app probably consistently every day for the past few months, and we've made a lot of good friends and great connections with WhatNot. And I definitely recommend it for people that want to sell, people just want to buy, people want to hang out, meet new friends, meet people in the community. You can search up all kinds of sections for TCG, for Funkos, comics. I mean, you name it. I'm sure you can find any niche of collecting that you enjoy. You can find people selling on WhatNot. And it's just really cool. A lot of people are really nice and open and friendly. We've made plenty of good connections and friends being on WhatNot these past few months, and it's always an enjoyable time. We have a lot of fun being in people's streams and hanging out with everybody, and because you never feel forced to buy stuff. It's always a good time hanging out, and if it comes up when you want to buy something, you can. We've never felt pressured before in anybody's streams, and it's always a good time. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to selling on there and representing TGA and getting their name out there. As I know that's a big thing that we've been trying to advocate for a while, and getting a lot of our friends into submitting of TGA and getting their opinions on it, hearing their feedback, and trying to get us exposed with as many people as we can.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, because also one of my favorite things to do on WhatNot is I love showing off all my TGA slabs. Because I tend to display them on my streams, and I constantly have people asking me, like, what company is that? Like, what are those slabs from? And then I get to show off all the different types of styles that are offered and available, at least like for the ones that I have on me now, because like now I'm able to show off different variations of them, ones that are just like a regular label versus like ones that have like the holo label on them. I'm able to showcase the flow labels and stuff now, like kind of give an idea like what those will look like for certain cards, like explaining like, what cards could potentially get flow labels and which ones wouldn't. Um, and yeah, it's just been really cool to kind of teach people about TGA. That it's like another company that grades cards, and especially for Naruto Kaiyu, because there was for a while like a lot of talk of like trying to find a company that grades those. Apparently for a while Beckett was grading them, but then they just stopped randomly for some reason. There was a company out in Canada, MNT Grading. They were doing the Naruto Kaiyu cards for a while. And so there was just like a lot of like just trying to find like a good company to grade them in the states. Um, and so I've been kind of talking with TGA for a little bit. And be like, hey, like you guys should definitely take on this this Naruto Kaiyu set. Like the cards are amazing. They're officially licensed product. Yeah, I definitely think that with like people being like really big into anime, like for a while, I think this would be a good idea to kind of jump into this and start showcasing that you guys can make like really cool labels for these, and start introducing possibly people grading other anime cards with TGA and stuff, and the possibilities of like other like animes getting custom labels, like the possible flow labels that can come from them. It's just like a lot of great opportunities for that. So I love showing off my TGA slabs and people coming in and asking me about them, and teaching them how TGA works with like the return times, the prices and everything. Which, by the way, for the month of April, for I mean we're a little past halfway through right now, um, but for the remainder of April, when you submit your cards with TGA, you can submit them for $13 a card. This is, I believe, the cheapest they've ever done submissions. I think, and or at least like in a while.
Yeah,
I think this is
definitely
like
in
the
a
cheapest
while.
they've done for submissions in a while. So if you're like thinking about sending in some cards, I definitely would recommend sending in your cards this month. For the end of month, before I can't talk, before the end of April ends, you should definitely consider sending in some cards, even if it's only like a few. There's nothing wrong with just sending in a few cards that you like, or if you want to send in 20, if you want to pick out your favorite 20 that you want to send, by all means, go ahead and do that. You can use code QUICK, save you some money. But anyway,
Now,
so
how do you spell that, Ryan? How do you spell quick?
so most people would think that's with a K,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not that special because someone else already had it. So
Oh.
it's actually Quick with two C's. So it's QUICC. And I believe it can be spelled either way, like lowercase or totally capitalized. I usually just do all caps just to make it easy, just to make sure. But yeah, but all caps QUICC. You can save yourself some money on your submissions because
Use the less special code and get the exact same discount.
Yep. So, and then there's also other, all of the other partners that are part of TGA. All their codes work as well. So if you have a special person that you want to use their code for, if there's like a certain streamer or a person or like a YouTuber or whoever makes content that you're into, that's a partner with TGA, you're more than welcome to use their codes as well.
But if you're cool,
So
you'd use quick QUICC at checkout.
yeah, yeah, there you go. This guy gets it.
Yeah,
Um,
I've never done it, but you should.
I actually just did it for the first time the
Oh,
other
there you
day.
go. Hey, from the man himself.
Yep. I use my own code because I'm definitely not egotistical about myself. But yeah, because I went ahead and actually just submitted my first partner submission.
What were the
I
cards
picked
that you
out.
submitted? I don't even know if you told me.
I'm sure I've shown you before, but most of them were Naruto. I finally sent in the three like big cards. I had that Minato SE.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
ones I cracked out for you.
Yep, and then the two BP ones, Minato and Kisame, and then some of the other ones were like other just the other remaining like rarities of the two characters that I needed. So like I sent in the gold SV Minato card, um, then the Kisame cards I sent in was the silver AR, and then I'm trying to think if there was another one. I think it was just the BP, and then the one of the other cards was the promo card with Kisame and Itachi on it. That was one I
Oh
sent.
right.
Another promo card I sent was the full Team Seven, so it was with the Kakashi and then Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura when they were kids. It was like when they first formed Team 7, there's a promo card with them, so I wanted to get that one because I thought that would be cool.
Yep.
And then I sent in. I'm trying to remember, did I only send in one My Hero card? Yeah, I think I may have held on to the Todoroki card for now till later. And I know I sent in the Bakugo secret rare one I pulled from base
Oh
set.
yeah, that's a good one.
Um, yeah, I got that one with a hollow
Is it
label,
that
so that looked
Nitro
really cool.
Explosion or something like that?
Yep, Nitro Explosion Ignition.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, so I sent that one. I sent in my Mob Psycho triple rare card, and then I also sent in my one secret rare I got from Love Is War, that Angelic Smile Kaguya card.
Not right. That's a
Sent
good
that
one.
one in. Yeah, so I sent it in a good little batch. I mean, most of them were Naruto, and then the others were like a good mix of some other stuff. So yeah, because I was trying to think about like how many I was gonna do, and like at first I was thinking I was just gonna do a full 20, and then I was like maybe I could just do 15, but I was like no, I'll just do a solid 10. I'll just pick out 10 for now,
Just
and
make it easy.
yeah, just make it nice and simple. Plus, like I knew I wanted to get some of those with like hollow labels and stuff, and I didn't want to do like I want this many with hollow labels, and then like I'm also gonna be sending in like 15 other ones with it, and so I wanted to just make it nice and just nice and simple for now, and then I can always decide to send in those other ones later that I've been thinking about for a while. But I really wanted to just to make sure that I finally got all the other rarities I needed for Minato and Kisame for Caillou, because once these cards are graded and they come back, then I'll officially have every rarity of their cards from Caillou, except for like I didn't get graded like any HRs or anything like that, or like any of like the chibi cards that they came out with, like the TRs or TGRs and stuff. I didn't bother with those.
Right.
But as far as all the other ones, because I literally have like an SR of Minato graded.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but other than that, I've pretty much covered all of the other rarities that are out there for them, at least for now. Because I mean, I don't know if they're planning to ever actually like come out with more stuff in the future, because they haven't really dropped anything in a while. So
Right. Yeah, I know all the cards I have waiting to submit with TGA are all Naruto Caillou, and I know majority of them are Itachi and Kakashi. Go figure. Those are my two favorite characters. I think the only ones that are not is the silver Naruto Hokage that I bought from you, and then the other Naruto I bought from you, the CR. Um, so I have those two in this mission, and then I think the biggest one is the Itachi NR that I'm getting
oh
graded.
right, yep.
I have a couple promo Kakashis, the Christmas one, and the what is it, the BR one of like the from the pin mystery box. So
Mm-hmm.
I have that one, and I think all of his MRs I have. So yeah, that'll definitely be so I have like those a lot of 10 as well that I'm really looking forward to getting graded and seeing what those come back. Those are a lot of really fun cards. And then both Itachi MRs, I think I left out his Anbu one for this grouping of 10 because like all those 10 I've been like waiting to get graded for a long time. But I have his other adult ones with the Akatsuki. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I think after this, that'll be most of like the Naruto ones I really wanted to get graded, at least for now. I'm sure there might be ones that come up later that I might decide to, if I want to pick out other characters that I want to get like the high like case hits graded for other characters that I like and stuff. Like if I like, because I feel like I would at some point want to get like a really cool card for Madara, because like Madara probably was like my favorite villain from like the main villain from Naruto that I liked. Obviously, Kisame is my favorite like Akatsuki member, but I think like Madara was like my favorite like just overall villain from the show. I probably
Right.
would consider like either getting like his NR or his CR or BP or something to get graded just for myself for my personal collection, because I think that would be really cool. Um, so I don't know. I'm still debating on that. I might see what I want to do, because I don't really think I have any CRs graded, because both Minato and Kisame both don't have CRs, so I don't have any CRs graded. So who knows? Maybe I'll decide to get Madara's CR graded, because that card's really nice.
Yeah, he has some
Um,
really nice cards.
yeah. So yeah, but yeah, pretty much all the other stuff I have graded that, like, or at least like the cards that I plan to like want to get graded now is just like mainly like my hero stuff. There's still some characters I want to send in some more cards for.
Hell yeah.
What else is there? I wanted to get some of those Boruto
Oh, right.
trading cards graded because those are kind of cool.
Yeah, there's this new Naruto Boruto trading card game that came out very recently, and a lot of the foil cards you can only get from the tournament packs, and it's 2 cards per pack. You should be able to find them on eBay, or we bought them from a seller on WhatNot, or I should say I did, and they're really cool. I mean, they're some kind of like basic pictures from the anime. At least that's what it seems like. Some of them could be like exclusive arts because how like individualistic they are. I'm probably butchered saying that. I have a communications degree. I don't know what that word is, but
I think some of the artworks on the cards are actually kind of similar to like the original CCG of Naruto.
Yeah,
like the style of like the characters, at least the characters, like the picture of like the actual like characters and stuff kind of look like similar to artworks from the original CCG of Naruto. But like the cards themselves are like completely like unique.
right.
And the foils are just like nice and like clean, like just really simple, nothing too crazy. But yeah, they look really nice. So I would like to get some of those graded. Because that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, and then planning to buy into some Sword Art Online boxes soon. Actually, speaking of soon, it's probably going to be happening tomorrow. So hopefully I pull some good stuff from that, and I'll have some more cards to grade with SAO, because I'd like to start building up that collection, getting some nice Kirito and Asuna cards for my PC, and then possibly, getting some nice cards to grade and to try to sell. Just love spreading the word of TGA and getting other people involved in the collecting with TGA, because their slabs are amazing and they are on top, in my opinion, as far as like the way that they look, and when you display them in a collection and stuff, they just look really nice. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that, and yeah, that's about it, really.
Yep, yeah. I will mention one last thing about SAO. Personally, to me, happened. So there was a. I'm not talking about TGA, but Beckett had a black label. There's a black label 10 Kirito signature card that was on eBay that I was watching, and stupidly forgot when it was ending, and it sold for a price that was quite reasonable for what that card is. And I felt kind of bad because I felt like I would have shelled out the cash for it if I was watching it in time. But who knows what it would have been going up to, whoever's high bid was. But I remember
What did it sell for?
like 200 something. It was like on the lower 200s, I think, like maybe like 240 or something like that. And
Wow.
yeah, for black labels, I mean, dude, like those are you can pretty much set your own prices for those kind of things. But that person decided to put it on a bid and let the buyers decide how much they wanted for it, and it did
Yeah.
not. It probably did not sell for as much as they thought.
Probably not. They were probably thinking it was going to get up to at least like 500 or something.
At the minimum, is there even the United States of Smash secret rare black label someone has listed on eBay for 600, and so so that's being a regular secret rare that's guaranteed in a case, as opposed to Kirito signature that's not guaranteed in a case, and that it's sold for about a third of what that person had the My Hero one listed for. So yeah, I definitely kind of felt a little bad about that slipping through my fingers, but I know I'm sure there'll be other opportunities for great Kirito cards in the future, especially ones I can just submit with TGA and feel good about. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. Because remember you said SAO, and that nightmare came back to me for a second. Had some Vietnam flashbacks with that one, but yeah, guys, I mean, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. We really appreciate you guys always tuning in and listening. It really means a lot to us. And as always, if you want it pristine, you got to keep it clean. See y'all in the next one.
Have a good one.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jordan at the end of the podcast with the usual question of the day, if you stayed through till the end. And the question of the day is, have you ever used WhatNot before? We mentioned it earlier in the podcast. And what's your greatest memory with it, whether it's buying or selling? Let us know what your greatest experience was. We would love to hear it. We've had so many great experiences buying and selling on WhatNot. It's been a whole lot of fun, and we definitely want to have that fun shared around, and we want to know all those good experiences that you had. So thank you once again so much for listening, and if you want Pristine, you got to keep it clean. See y'all next time.